501 episodes, and you're still not tired of us, correct? I hope so. Hello, and welcome to Geek History Lesson. I am Jason Inman.
I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson. Welcome to your Mind University, because you have stumbled onto the podcast where a Canadian comic book writer and a screenwriter from Kansas take one character, construct, or self-indulgent idea from pop culture and teach you everything you need to know about it in about an hour. And this is our 501 Dalmatians episode. And Jason, can you believe they made 501 Dalmatians?
Is that a real thing?
No.
Okay.
It's 101 Dalmatians.
Knowing Disney Plus, that could be a real thing.
You know what? I'm going to say copyright Geek History Lesson coming in 2027.
I'm just going to be honest. I don't pay attention to a lot that Disney Plus does these days. I would be happy to work for them.
That being said,
X-Men 97 was amazing. X-Men 97 was amazing. But beyond that, so they could have easily have done in 105 Dalmatians, and I would have no clue.
There you go.
Yeah, we're still celebrating 10 years of Geek History Lesson.
Because we earned it, consarnate.
That's right. Tarnation. We earned it, and damn it, we're going to give 2 episodes of 500. If you guys haven't seen, we celebrated our 500th episode with this giant live stream. It's now on the audio feed.
Full of celebrities. And
this will be dropping a few days after that. But you can go watch it's an episode of celebrities. Mm-hmm. Full 2 hours of celebrities showed up.
2.5 half.
Brent Spiner showed up. Yep. I'm not joking. Brent Spiner literally showed up. I am not joking.
On camera.
Some people in the audio feed think we are lying about that. Brent Spiner.
We have a Star Trek celebrity and a Lord of the Rings celebrity.
Yeah, pretty big. Our 2 big fandoms.
Yeah.
So it was a great time. Go check that out. But we wanted to reach out to some of the Mind University students, some of the listeners like you, and because this show, the Mind University Geek History Lesson, is as much your show as it is ours. We would not have kept podcasting for 10 years and 500 episodes without your support. So a couple of weeks ago and during the live stream, I asked for anybody to email us a voicemail at geekhistorylesson@gmail.com and give us their favorite, GHL fact, their favorite GHL joke, their favorite GHL memory. And we're going to play a bunch of these on the air and let you become a part of the podcast that you have helped grown for so long and that we're so very thankful of. So this episode is going to be a little loosey-goosey. It's going to be a little bit, we call this trashy. I'm currently holding my mic.
Yeah.
I'm holding my mic. You can't even tell because it has a shock mount.
Your wrist is going to get so sore.
It will. I didn't want to set up the shock mount, basically. But we're going to be doing a bunch of that. And also, we want to remind you that our limited edition, only available for the next 30 days, we have a 500th episode, 10-year anniversary Geek History Lesson poster drawn by the amazing Brian Lopez. It is an homage to X-Men Days of Future Past. You can find that on the internet and all around, and it's available only for the next 30 days at jasoninman.com/store. We're never going to reprint it ever again.
No, we're not. So.
We're just not. We're actually, to be honest with you, we're only ordering 100 of them. So you best hurry up if you want. It's going to be very limited edition. There's some signed copies of it, but it's an amazing poster because I especially really wanted us to have a cool poster to celebrate this mile marker of 500 episodes.
Not you making it seem like I was indifferent on us having a poster.
You were. There was a couple of points. I will say it was very difficult to find a great artist or to find an artist that was available for this. So I was so happy that Brian was available and was able to do it because Brian's done lots of amazing art for us in the past.
Brian rescued us.
And Brian Lopez also, I know, listens to this show as he draws. So
hi, Brian.
He might not listen to this one, though.
He's going to be like, I know what these fools sound like.
So, okay, let's get into some of your voicemails here about your favorite Geek History Lesson, fact, memory, joke, all kinds of things like that. And this first one is, and bear with me, I'm definitely going to mispronounce some names.
It's not intentional, and it's our fault. We're sorry, we didn't mean it, we didn't know.
Was sent in from Rishi B. So let's hear what Rishi B has to say about Geek History Lesson.
Congratulations, Jason and Ashley, on 500 episodes. This is Rishi B. When I think of fond memories of GHL, I think of how amazing it is to hear Ashley enter her Super Saiyan final boss mode whenever Lord of the Rings is the subject. Love you, Ashley. I also think of checking to see what Marvel or DC topic is the latest episode of GHL, and was surprised to see James Bond, and was further surprised to hear how engaged both of you are into James Bond. That was cool. But there's a recent memory in the Dune episode. So I read Dune when I was 19, and I was probably just coming off of reading Hitchhikers and Harry Potter. So I was just like not in the right headspace. and hated it and didn't think there would be anything that could get me to reread Dune. That is until I heard Jason's passion plea for everyone to really absorb Dune. So thank you. Thank you guys for 500 and many more.
I am so happy to have brought another convert to the Church of Muad'Dib.
Jason is also the reason that I read Dune as well as an adult. So Rishi, we're good friends. We're in good company.
Thank you for that kind email, Rishi. And I will have to say, it's funny. I don't know why you were surprised that we did a James Bond episode, because I'm going to tell you we're going to do another one this year. And we're probably going to do my favorite James Bond episode.
Roger Moore?
We might do a Roger Moore. No, actually, I'm pretty certain we're going to do Goldfinger. Just that's a little wink. A little wink. Because I believe this is Goldfinger's anniversary.
Because we can do whatever we want. Yes, it is.
It's our pod. We passed 500 episodes. And if you don't know, the Queen of Podcasting in our live stream gave us the official decree. We are now official podcasts. And once you get past 500 episodes, you can do whatever the hell you want. Yeah. This has now become a podcast about Bitcoin and stocks.
And Drag Race.
All right. So I'm doing a covered call in OOO and a VTR. And
SPY, baby, SPY.
I'm going to trade with a 3% dividend yield, and I'm going to go back forward and go a forward call and wait for those stock trends.
If anyone wants a Robinhood code, Jason would be happy to send you one. That is an unironic actual thing.
Sure, if you want. I mean, I'll give it to you. All right, this next one comes from I'm going to say a very fancy gentleman. I'm going to assume Mr. Robert English. I'm
going to say he's a lord. He's a Geek History Lesson podcast lord.
Okay, here we go. So this is a message from Robert English about his favorite Geek History Lesson memory.
Hello, Jason and Ashley. Congratulations on over 500 episodes of Geek History Lesson. What an amazing accomplishment. Now, my favorite memory of the show is actually when Jason posited his theory that Hawkeye was in fact not a hero, but an anti-hero. After hearing his explanation and listening to the theory, he has fully converted me to that idea. I consider Hawkeye to be an anti-hero now rather than a full-blown hero. Thank you guys for all you do, and we really appreciate you here at the Mind University. Thanks, professors.
I love how Robert did his message as he was also an employee at the Mind University.
Yeah.
And you know what? Canon. That is now canon. Robert, tell us what subject you teach. You are now an employee. I'm going to be honest here. I don't remember this theory at all.
I remember it. It might have been the first time when I screamed about how anti-heroes are not heroes. They're villains.
You want to give us that theory again?
What's the opposite of a hero? A villain.
Yeah,
there is no such thing as an anti-hero.
Yeah.
That was definitely early days. That was like our Clint Barton Hawkeye episode days.
Well, and I have some special fondness for Hawkeye because he was also a part of the Thunderbolts, which is one of my favorite comic book concepts as well. So it's interesting. This is going to be so fascinating to me because everybody, I think, is going to have a different opinion about like what moment stuck out to them. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be surprising to a lot of us. So Robert, I'm glad that stuck with you. And also I need your W-9. So here is a voicemail from a longtime listener and long patron, Tom Trainer here. And I just want to give a special shout out to Tom Trainer because Tom Trainer, I know, is the big, let's say, man behind the scenes, man behind the curtain, Blofeld, if you will, to bring more James Bond back into this podcast because we need more James Bond.
He's such a nice guy. He's not Blofeld.
Apparently, he is the one that orchestrated Mr. Brent Spiner making an appearance on our live stream. So we owe him and all the many others like a second thank you. So here's a voicemail from Tom Trainer about his favorite Geek History Lesson moment or memory.
Hey, Jason and Ashley, this is Tom Trainer, and I just wanted to say congratulations on 10 years and 500 episodes of my favorite podcast ever. What started as a fun podcast to help pass the time while working has developed into being part of a wonderful online community of real friendships. So I wanted to say thank you so much for everything you built. Some of my favorite memories of GHL include my first time as a TA in a Lock and Key episode, Blackest Nightclub, and the mailbags being something to look forward to during lockdown, and Tex Wellerman's surprise appearance on a live stream, which was one of the most hilarious things to have happened in 10 years. Congratulations and much love to you both. Bye.
I think Tom did record that from a secret lair somewhere.
No,
it was very covert.
I liked how he was so whispery.
He's giving us an ASMR.
He was like very much like Ashley and Jason. I just, my family can't know that I listen to your podcast, and I have to tell you. I kid.
Are we Tom's dirty little secret?
Maybe we are. We're the other man / woman.
Wow.
Well, hello, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
But that was a very, very sweet message. And, I also think, there can only be one other response to Tom's message. Ashley, we're getting a phone call.
Oh, I'll pick it up.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Ashley. Tex will be making a surprise appearance on your episode 501.
I'm never surprised by your appearance.
You should be. Of course, you all know I'm oil magnate and owner of 9 Piggly Wigglies in Texas. Tex Willer, my best friend to Kurt Wagner, the incredible Nightcrawler, and frequent...
owner of a burlesque bar, I believe.
I own a burlesque bar now?
Yes, because you were into saying titties for a while.
Oh, that's true. I own a burlesque bar, and let's say it's called Big Braziers. Okay. I'm here to talk about Tom. He enjoyed my surprise appearance, and apparently I also know that he has been trying to send me funds to start my own podcast. That's what I hear. He apparently enjoyed Tex-Men.
I was going to say you have an X-Men podcast.
Well, you people at the Mine University have only let me do 1 episode here so far, and I want to do more. I'm ready to do a whole bunch of episodes of Tex-Men.
Tex, can I put you on the spot right now?
You can.
When X-Men 97 Season 2 comes out, will you review every single episode in this podcast feed?
Probably not. I mean, if enough listeners want it, I will do it. But I can only, my schedule is rough.
Tex, your face right now is doing so much gymnastics.
I own a burlesque club now, and that takes a lot of time. And so I can only say that maybe I won't be able to record these episodes frequently. Maybe I'll give you a couple. If enough people want it, maybe I will I can do an X-Men movie here or there talking about it. Weird facts. Again, we all got a perfect name. It's called Tex-Men.
Tex-Men is a perfect name. All right, what else do you want to say for Tom?
Well, I'll tell you this. You know how you're the other man and woman for Tom's life?
Yes.
Tom is the other man for my wife, Judy.
Wow.
I found this. Tom, I'm coming for you. I figured it out. I know it's you. I 100% know it's you, because the only reason you were surprised by my appearance on a live stream is because you didn't expect me to see you there. I got my eye on you, Tom. Watch your back. All right. I got to go.
You gonna sign off with your normal sign off?
I don't remember that it is. Hugs and kisses. Is it hugs and kisses? Hugs and kisses. Oh, no, actually, you know what I need to do, because I always do this. Hugs and kisses.
Wow. Hope that doesn't make it all the way to Tom.
It might. If Tex arced it right, it will.
Yeah.
So, Tom, don't look up. Run. Okay. Next email. Oh, interesting. Oh, Robert English sent us a second email to make sure that we got his voicemail. Robert, we got it. You're good. You're all good.
See, this is why he's an A+ top grade employee.
This is why we hired him. I know. He said, hey, I forgot to put the right voicemail. Robert, we got you. Don't worry. And, I appreciate you double checking that out. Next, we have a voicemail here from Mateus. I'm sorry, Mateus. I know you've actually submitted a letter to us before, which is really great.
Mateus was in our live stream. Sweet Brazilian listener.
Yes, Mateus is from Brazil, and I'm going to badly mispronounce your names. Texeira Souza, but Mateus Souza, I believe. He apologizes early for the broken English. Don't apologize. You're going to sound beautiful.
Never, ever apologize for an accent or for speaking in not your first language. We mess it up all the time.
I'm just honored that our podcast gets all the way to Brazil. So here is Mateus's voicemail.
Hi, Jason and Ashley. My name is Matheus Teixeira. You guys can call me Matt for simplicity's sake. I'm a listener from Brazil. I've been listening to Geek History Lesson for about 8 years now. And you guys, I wanted to thank you, because those years listening to you really got me through some tough times during high school and now partway through college. And I also wanted to thank you because listening to the podcast also got me really into comics when I was a teenager and gave me a chance to know more about some characters I wouldn't otherwise. In particular, the 2-part episode of the Fantastic Four let me give them a chance in comics to read them, and now they are my favorite group of superheroes. And we just are my favorite couple of Marvel comics. And I wanted to ask you guys if you guys are interested in the new MCU movie of the Fantastic Four. and what you guys are thinking of if you're reading the current run of Fantastic Four written by Ryan North, I believe. I think it's one of the great ones, possibly. Thank you guys for everything. Bye.
Matt, instead of Mateus, sorry. What a sweet message. That was so kind. I'm glad that we could have helped you through some tough times, and I'm glad that we're able to get you through college, because college sucks for everybody. Just be honest. Let's be honest about that.
Also, congratulations on going to college.
Yeah, good job.
Amazing.
Let
us know when you graduate so we can give you a proper shout out.
So happy that you've gotten to the Fantastic Four, because again, they're one of my favorites as well. I'm very excited for the new movie. To be honest with you, I think the artwork they've released for it, I think Vanessa Kirby is a great choice for Sue. Mm-hmm. I really, to be honest with you, think the casting is stellar. Mm-hmm. I think it's really good. It's completely, I would have never expected Pedro Pascal for Reed, but but you know what? I like him quite a bit. He is a really good actor, so I will believe it. And then the gentleman from The Bear being Ben Grimm, and then
Evan, oh boy, I'm sorry.
And then the kid from Stranger Things being, but no, I'm excited for it. I think it's really good. I'm very pleased with it. Although all the casting has been. I feel like everybody in Hollywood is now in that movie.
It's giving Dune. I would be super interested in the meta narrative of, because Marvel is sort of, your mileage, I think, may vary on it post Infinity Saga. It's maybe struggling to find its feet. I would love it if Fantastic Four is the thing that really connects with people, because the Fantastic Four has really struggled cinematically. But I'm excited for the movie. I think it has potential to be great.
I am too. All right. Now we have a message from Christopher Rondow. I'm saying that correctly. Here we go. Here's his message about his favorite Geek History Lesson memory or fun fact or just message for us.
Hi, my name is Christopher Rondeau. I'm the owner of Scald's Tale Entertainment and a writer for Majorspoilers.com. I want to congratulate Jason and Ashley for reaching 500 episodes. It's such a cool thing to do, and not many people get a chance to do that. So congratulations first and foremost. One of the things I like about Geek History Lesson is the breadth of knowledge they bring to the table. Not only are they providing these lessons on characters that I grew up with, they are providing insight into the creative process that myself as a writer don't get to see very often. It is always great to hear other people's perspectives on art. As you guys continue your creative journey with Geek History Lesson, I hope to gain even more knowledge and more understanding of who you guys are as creators and getting these things to bring to the cocktail party, wherever that may be.
Bringing stories to the cocktail party. I like that. Christopher, that's great. What a great, thank you for that sweet message. We see you in the Discord a lot. It's over at patreon.com/Alvin.
And over at Major Spoilers, of course.
And Major Spoilers. And, we both work for Majorspoilers.com, and you saw the live stream. Major Spoilers has been such a huge part of our creative journey. So, happy to have you as part of the crew. And, I've had a thought about that recently. It's so funny. He's bringing that up, and, maybe I'll drop this. I haven't talked to Ashley about this at all. I'll drop this live on the air. It would be fun to do some super geeky things one week and then drop into the very next week to drop into the literature old movie that they were definitely inspired by. It would be neat to maybe drop into some Chris Claremont X-Men and to be I think Dark Phoenix was based on Macbeth, and kind of dive into the same thing and relate them.
Yeah, especially with stuff like Star Wars. There's a lot,
Go Akira Kurosawa. Go down this entire, because
exactly that.
Nothing is original. That's what you're going to learn.
There's only 7 archetypes in storytelling.
That's right. We have an email voicemail from Ramon Fernandez Ayrazagoitia, who sorry, Ramon. Sorry. But he is a lovely gentleman, senor from Mexico.
Arbiter of Taste. He chose our latest book that we're doing in the book club, Dimension of Miracles.
And he has a voicemail for us that we're going to play right now.
Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in and thank you for 10 years of GHL. As someone who has had the pleasure of listening to GHL since early in year 2, I've always appreciated your wit, banter, and absolute dedication to your craft. For my favorite memories, I always smile when Doctor Strange, Tex Willerman, Nightcrawler, and every other character appears. As the Dark Wizard, though, because I'm the only Dark Wizard, I will always be proud to have been the catalyst for one of the more epic endings to the Christmas special, and that will always be my favorite memory. That, and of course, being a part of one of the most wonderful communities you could ever find on the internet. A big shout out to my Discord fam. congratulations again, and I will always hope the best for you, and I hope to get many more years of GHL. Bye.
I will always
How dare the Dark Wizard, an enemy of Doctor Strange, be so polite in his message?
I will always hope the best for you, Ramon. I'm going to steal that catchphrase. That's so nice.
It is really nice.
That's really good. Yes, we should explain that a couple years back, I believe it might have been 2020 or 2021. Right,
it was right around the dark times.
Ramon sent in a spell to Doctor Strange when he had taken over the podcast during the holiday show, and it cursed Doctor Strange and Clea into, I think, hell for a year.
It's so canon that in the Discord, Ramon's name says Dark Wizard.
He is the Dark Wizard. Yeah. Yes, I always enjoy when you enjoy when we have our special guests pop into the podcast, because I always worry that scares people away.
Not me.
Ashley always wants more. Russ sent us a voicemail, but in his voice, Russ Walker sent us a voicemail, listener Russ Walker, and he says, 501 episodes, give or take, is an amazing achievement. You've created one of the most welcoming places on the internet, and it makes me smile every episode and every day on the Discord. I hope all is going well for you 2/3, because he said hi to intern Brago as well. And you have safe travels in the coming months. Thank you for everything. Let's let's hear from Russ Walker.
Hello, Jason Milestone Inman and Ashley Victoria Robinson. This is Russ Walker, the Discord Lord of the Chickens, and I'm just calling to say congratulations on 500 episodes. You all have been a major part of my life for the past 10 years, since that Dark Side episode where you had a contest. I somehow won and received a copy of an omnibus that has been a prized possession ever since. As for a favorite episode memory, I would have to say I'm still waiting on the t-shirts promised in, I believe, the Two Towers episode that have a picture of Aragorn saying, hot, wet, and dirty. Congratulations again. And for a live Walker Writes Wonders, what are you most excited about in the next coming 500 episodes? Congratulations again, and thank you for the community that you've made here.
I forgot about that
For the
t-shirt.
proof that we don't remember a single thing after we say it.
I forgot about that t-shirt.
I would wear the hell out of the t-shirt.
Sure. Somebody wants to make it and send it along. I'll give you a cut. I'll give you a cut of the t-shirt profits. They'll be small.
And just because intern Brago was shut out, he is sleeping in the room right now.
Yes.
Lulled by everybody's voices.
He's loafing pretty well. Ashley, what are you looking forward to in the next 500 episodes? Geek History Lesson.
Oh, surviving.
Wow.
Living long enough to make fun.
Are we going full apocalypse? Is like Mad Max going to happen over the next 10 years of this podcast?
No, don't be ridiculous.
We'll be the two podcasting on top of a car as we praise the metal and water.
I mean, we probably will.
So shiny, so clean.
Podcast until we die. I wouldn't put that past us. I'm looking forward to stretching, something that if you either watched or listened
I should do that right now. Okay.
Every time your pet stretches, you should stretch as well. So every time you stand up, every time you sit down.
I definitely don't stretch enough.
But as Diego pointed out when we were sort of doing our stats, in year one of Geek History Lesson, we tried a lot of different stuff. We tried books and video games and genre that wasn't, and then we
did a Divergent episode in like the first 2 years.
Yeah.
A Divergent episode.
I don't know why, because I did not enjoy a single one of those books.
It was your idea. I can tell you 100% it was your idea.
It's because the movies were coming out is why we did it. And we have been very comic book heavy since then, and I think you've kind of been able to tell since lockdown that we have been trying to bloom and grow a little bit more in that same way that I think we always intended to. So I'm excited to do some more of that and kind of expand what our concept of geek is. But I'm also excited we've done 500 episodes and there are still really iconic and really key characters that we haven't touched on yet. So I'm excited to get to them as well.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to expanding outside of superheroes because I think some of our best episodes of the last 2 to 3, 4 or 5 years have been non-superhero episodes.
Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, Super Mario Bros. I think is like one of the best episodes we ever done.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get outside of that box, especially since the world is expanding. At this point, I would be like, I don't know, maybe when Shogun comes back for season 2, maybe we're doing a Shogun episode. and telling you about shoguns in the past. That would be really fascinating. Yeah, I think that's the reason. There's a reason why we called this podcast, even from the very beginning, Geek History Lesson.
And not Comic Book History Lesson. That's the podcast that stole our name and idea.
I agree. Yep, that was a podcast.
I'll say it with my whole chest because they use our tags so that they show up in our search algorithms.
That's correct. And I don't think they still record episodes.
They don't, but I'm mad every time I see their stupid logo.
Yeah, because I agree. I'm putting them on blast. I don't care.
I will.
They basically stole our logo.
If you're going to steal, you got to steal better than that.
You got to be a little bit smarter. But that is the whole reason why we did not call the show Comic Book History Lessons, because we wanted to, our first episode is RoboCop.
Yeah. And Sherlock, if you count the pilot,
so like I'm excited about doing that. Like I've said this several times, I'd be like a multiverse episode. I think would be so interesting, would be so fascinating. And it's such a part of comic books and geeks and stuff like that. So that's the stuff that I'm excited. I'm excited about like broadening horizons and moving into new spheres. And the comic book stuff's not going to go away. It's going to be around, guys. It's there's going to be lots of it around. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's not going anywhere. But yeah.
We're excited about new stuff. TLDR, new stuff.
Now we have an email, voicemail from Cody Bond.
Canada's own
great listener, Cody Bond.
Some of my favorite moments from the first 500 GHL episodes have to be my introduction to GHL, the Batman timeline and the Green Arrow episode, which ultimately led me back to reading comics. I now look forward to hearing what new middle name Jason will have each week and what comics I might dive into once I learn about a new character. Ultimately, though, I have to say, having the opportunity to meet Ashley and Jason in person, being able to sit down with them over a cup of coffee and talk all things nerdy and pop culture was absolutely fantastic. Let's never forget, Hal Jordan is a drunk pilot.
I am blown away that my joke of Hal Jordan being a drunkard pilot has stuck around this long. I guess everybody just has a low opinion of Hal Jordan.
I mean,
except for Jeremy Adams,
the shoe fits. Yeah, except
who is the writer of Hal Jordan right now,
and honestly, really slaying that book.
Yep. Oh, he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. But Hal Jordan's not drunk anywhere in there. Lastly, before we get into some memories that we have from the Discord, I think some people talked about their favorite GHL episode. Is that what we're going to talk about?
Sure.
We got an email today, literally the day that we recorded this at 9:41 a.m. that is kind of special, and I want to really, really read it. This is from Dave Scott. So I hope Dave is listening now, or hope as he's like moving forward. So he starts the email with, "Where do old comic book shop owners go to die? They hike 400 miles up the length of Norway. Long story, will do my best to shorten it. A very long time ago, I was one of the first comic book shop owners in America. I was there for the first direct-only books. I was there for Crisis, Secret Wars, Death of Superman, and Robin. I sold my shop, I sold my collection, and I left the comic world for what I thought was good. 25 years later, I am retired and I hike for a hobby. This year, I am hiking 400 miles up the length of Norway, and it is called the Way of St. Olav, or called the Pilgrim's Laden. I might be mispronouncing that. Go ahead and look it up. It is a bit of a religious pilgrimage to the site of the bones of St. Olav, the saint who brought Christianity to Norway, doing away with the Norse gods, Thor, Odin, Loki, and the rest. I was looking for something to listen to while I do this journey, and I used the Google machine to find something about the first few pages of Journey into Mystery, or the first appearance of Thor, and after a few days hunting through caves for sticks to smite, Google directed me to your podcast. What a fun few miles to listen to with old friends coming to life through your memories. I've listened to several hours of the Golden and Silver Age memories and will listen to many more. Thank you for the memories. I have about 6 more weeks of walking.
Oh my gosh.
But have subscribed to your podcast. Good luck for the future. Congrats on your 500 show and all the best from Norway, Dave Scott. And Dave gave us a couple of pictures of him hiking the trail.
Oh my God, Dave is a cool looking dude.
Dave's cooler than we're ever gonna be.
Absolutely.
And also, I did not know about.
Look at how big his backpack is.
Yeah, he's a real. So I already emailed him back, but I also wanted to give him a shout out on the podcast because Dave, happy to have you aboard, and I hope you're listening to this as you're hiking. Keep on trucking, brother.
That's iconic.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
We gotta hike that trail.
Sure.
When are we gonna do that?
You tell me, man.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
I'm actually flying to another country tomorrow.
You're changing your plans.
I'm going broadly in the right direction.
Ashley, we've mentioned it several times. One of the proudest accomplishments of Geek History Lesson is when we made a Patreon over at patreon.com/Jawin, JAWIIN. It's not a plug.
It's not a plug.
Well, it's kind of a plug, but like the Patreon created this thing that we fought for a long time, which was Discord. We didn't want to do Discord.
People asked us to do Discord for a long time.
People asked us to do Discord for a long time. We were very resistant to it. And then we did.
Because Discord, if you're listening, you're not user-friendly.
Very not user-friendly. And we, with the help of my good friend Jeremy Skinner, we made a Discord. And the Discord has become one of the best things that we do and one of the best communities that literally exist on the internet. And a lot of the listeners you've heard today are a part of it. It's just a really cool group of really nice super friends that are all chill and nice. And they wrote something in the Discord about, could you clarify this for me, Ashley?
Yeah. So we do a thing called Random Question of the Day. And when I'm not around, somebody else does it. And so our patrons have been picking that up, which is so lovely. And Tom Trainer, who you previously heard, a couple days ago asked, I'm going to throw out a random question of the day in honor of the forthcoming 500th episode. What is your GHL origin story? How did you find the show? Do you remember the first episode that made you decide to be a patron? So let's start with Tom's answer. Tom's answer says, it was the second podcast I ever found after I binged Serial, and I just typed Geek into a podcast player search engine. I don't remember the first episode, but it was probably the best of in the second year. I distinctly remember the build up to the episode 100, West Coast Avengers, dun, dun, dun. I decided to be a patron specifically because of GHL Extra. I love the show, and I wanted to hear the added topics for each week. And then the next answer comes from Cody Bond, who says, my answer is part of what I plan on submitting for my favorite memory, which we just listened to.
Listen to this, Cody. How dare you?
He tells the story about his sister recommending the Batman Timeline episode and says, and then I stumbled on the Green Arrow episode, which led to me picking up Quiver as per Jason's recommendation. That trade is arguably my reintroduction back into purchasing and reading comics, and I have been hooked ever since. Tamback says, I don't remember my first episode, but I feel like it was before episode 100. I think I just searched for comics and found the show.
Cool.
Jeremy Skinner says, my first GHL was a live one circa 2006.
That's about right. It would have been somewhere in 2006 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it would have been right in front of him.
And he further says, I don't really remember that much about it, but it definitely included an action figure spotlight.
It 100% probably included an action figure spotlight, yeah. Actually, I'll give you, you want to go like an old school back to 2006 and, some of the origins of, Jason and Jeremy John About Justice League podcast that I do with Jeremy. I remember one of the first things we did was either watch Justice League Unlimited and watching Heroes. We had like a regular watching like NBC's Heroes night.
Remember when Heroes was the best X-Men show we had?
Yeah, it was. Not anymore.
Not anymore by a long shot. Jake Hefner said, so I was a big fan of SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd when they were around back then. And I came to know GHL through Jason when he guested on their show Superhero Roundup. And when he gave the elevator pitch of GHL, I was intrigued, but I didn't feel I had enough time to fit another podcast into my week. Joke's on you, Jake.
You did. You apparently did.
Then when I lost my job, I thought to myself, well, all I have is time now. And I checked out episode 0 and was pretty much hooked from there on. He was like, I guess if I have to. It felt like having two friends there to comfort me during that time. And eventually they coaxed me out of my despair. That was almost 7 years ago. And I've been a fan ever since.
Oh, what a nice. I'm glad to have been a small part of it.
Also, Jake is a lovely human person. We've had a lot of these people in 3D, which is so very sweet. Terrence Wan says it was the height of the pandemic.
The height of the pandemic.
Something like May or June of 2020.
Something like June or May of 2020.
I was playing Halo online with my friends.
Were they all my ex-boyfriends from high school?
Oh,
they might have been Ashley's ex-boyfriends.
Because that was one of the few ways we could socially hang out at the time. And I got so hooked on the game that I found myself just mindlessly playing matches for a while. So I thought I might as well listen to a podcast at the same time. I didn't want anything news-based as the news was already depressing enough. That's so true. And comics pop culture as a whole was paused anyway. Lo and behold, the Spotify algorithm blessed me with GHL, a podcast that was just educational and discussion-based, where I can just get lost in the Mind University as I play my games and forget about the pandemic for a little while. Meredith says, I remember Jason plugging it on an episode of Movie Fights that he was on.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
I think that was pretty early in Geek History Lessons history, and I was hooked instantly.
That's from the old Screen Junkies days.
Oh, man.
That would have been 2014, 2015-ish.
The before times.
Yeah.
Ramon says, this is remarkably similar to my origin, responding to Tom Trainer's original story. I was listening to a few podcasts already, like WTNV and Serial. I love
Everybody's Serial.
You were listening to Serial, and then we're like, I need Geek History Lesson.
Okay, let's talk about it. Do we think Serial is the thing that made people aware of podcasts?
I think Serial is what made podcasts mainstream.
I will say that I do remember. Fun fact: I was working at Screen Junkies when I remember, like, everybody in the office was like, "Have you listened to this podcast called Serial?" I
was working at Earth 2 Comics in Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
It's just closed.
Yeah. So maybe that is the thing that like brought everybody into, like, everybody was like, it became like just captured the zeitgeist, and everybody was like, what are these things called podcasts, even though they had been around for 10 years
by that point. Yeah. Ramon goes on to say, and I felt a need for some geek related stuff, literally typed geek and saw the description and instantly subscribed. Heard a few of their recent episodes, including the Gandalf one. Oh boy.
Gandalf.
And just stayed subscribed and listening.
Oh, so Ramon is only still listening to us because he just forgot to click unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe. That's what it is.
Well, if you want to, Ramon, you can, I guess.
We won't be that mad.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty devastated.
You are a dark wizard, so I mean,
you can do whatever you want. Jesse says, in January 2020, I decided to dive into comics, and I got the DC Universe app, a Kindle Fire, and I started with Action Comics #1 and learned quickly this was going to be rough. That's so true. We've all had that idea.
Yep.
I started going through YouTube to try and find an explanation of the Golden Age, and I came across.
She's like, this makes no sense.
She's not wrong.
Someone please explain it to me. She's not wrong.
And came across GHL Batman: The Golden Age. I had jumped around episodes after that until I learned about podcasts, and I have been an avid listener ever since. I became a patron a couple years ago, and I got promoted at work and got a raise.
Are we responsible for your raise? Wow.
No, she used her raise to pay for the Patreon.
Oh, thank you, Jesse. Okay, cool. Well, thank you.
Russ Walker says, I'm guessing I found GHL from the Major Spoilers podcast. Jason was showing up from time to time, and then Ashley became a regular.
Yeah.
And then he shared the Dark Side story and shared the omnibus that we sent him.
Yes, it's so funny. So it's Superman versus Darkseid that we sent to Russ on a costume. It's funny. I completely forgot about that contest, but when Russ shared that picture to us, I immediately remembered it. I was like, oh, yeah, I do remember sending that off. Mm-hmm. Russ, if you want to make that copy feel a little bit more special, I can tell you exactly where that book came from. That book came from the offices of DC Comics.
There you go.
Directly from the offices, because there used to be, when I worked at DC Comics, there used to be on the third floor, where the collected editions department, there used to be a table, and the table
was Dear God, please take this, Dear God.
Yeah, it was like kind of all the extra comp copies.
Yeah.
And they were totally like, well, if anybody wants to take these, please get them the hell out of here. And so I would avail myself of quite a few DC, and so that one came from DC Comics.
Mad Eye Moody says, I'm pretty sure I just searched for comic or geek podcasts and the algorithm gods provided. I wanted to say it was the first 100 episodes, but it's been so long that I don't remember. Became a patron for GHL Extra and then bumped it up for Book Club.
Oh, nice.
And then said, scrolling through GHL, I just noticed that they have a Planet of the Apes episode, very relevant for this
We do.
week.
We did Planet of the Apes very early, during like the rise or dawn or the war.
It was in like our first year. Yeah. It was early. J Period says, I was driving to San Diego Comic-Con in 2017 and asked friends for podcast recommendations for the drive. One recommended GHL, and I think the first episode I listened to was Spider-Man Homecoming review. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was some time later that I realized I had met Jason at San Diego Comic-Con in 2016 when he worked at DC.
Oh, nice to remember you.
Nice to know you.
Nice to have met you once.
Nice to have seen you.
Yeah.
Diego says, I believe it was 2017.
Diego who?
Diego Anthony Nunez.
Thank you.
I believe it was 2017, and I was actively listening to Geek History Lesson only because I remembered meeting Jason and Ashley for the first time at LA Comic-Con that year as a fan. Diego recently, if you're listening to this around the time it comes out, shared this picture.
He did.
Picture.
I think we retweeted it. It was very cute. He was wearing a crow. He was wearing a crow t-shirt.
Yes, in the most on-brand possible.
Yeah.
I believe it was Jason and Ashley being featured on Comic Pop that got them on my radar. After that, I really liked what they had to say every time they were featured as guests, so I gave Geek History Lesson a shot, and it just became my go-to podcast for the last 7 years.
By the way, I completely forgot. Diego did send in a voicemail. I have it right here.
Then this would be the time.
Yeah, I accidentally skipped over it. Here it is.
Hey guys, it's me, Diego Anthony Nunez, your loyal research assistant. I just want to say I am so proud of you guys. I've only had a small part coming in the last couple of years contributing to the show, but when I actually stood back and examined your episodes over the years, it's unfathomable. It's incredible that you managed to consistently keep up with such high quality and innovation for a show that had humble beginnings. As a fan, I remember coming in when 250 was a big deal for your episode count. I have a lot of treasured memories. The year I started my weight loss journey was the year I got into Geek History Lesson, and you two were my companions when I would listen to while working out. I remember when I came to the John Wayne charity drive, and you both were very, very kind to me. And the time you both took to converse with me and treated me like a friend years before we all legitimately became friends was something very impactful for me. And obviously, as the years progress, I happened to say the right thing at the right time, and we all became friends and started working together. You guys took me into the Mine University, and I'm so proud to make any contribution to this show that I love, that I made any kind of impact. You know, when I think about the episodes like Icon or Emma Frost, and even recently with The Crow, I can't state enough how grateful I am that I have this as an outlet to express myself and my love for geeky things, and the way you guys have been good to me and treated me and saw me for the person that I am. I love you guys. You deserve all the success, and I am so, so proud of you both. Love you, Jason and Ashley.
A very nice message from GHL research assistant.
We love you too, Diego.
Diego, much love to you, man. That is, it's funny.
I remember vividly meeting Diego at the comic drive because by that point he had been like consistent enough on other social media and on Patreon that I was like, oh, I know him. He's nice. Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Diego is like the perfect example of, and I've said this to a lot of people because a question that I get in a lot of various places are people like, well, how do you get a job here? Mm-hmm. How do you get a job there? And a lot of the ways that I've always got jobs in the past or opportunities is you just kind of have to be normal and nice
and consistent
and friendly. Mm-hmm. And if you keep messaging somebody online and you're nice and you're normal and you're consistent, eventually you will create a bond and you will create a friendship. And eventually, if you pick your moment, you could ask for a job, or they might be like, I need a person to do this. And Diego was that person for us. Like, we really needed something. We were like, oh man, we are getting overwhelmed. We really need somebody that can help us out with all this research. And Diego was like right there at the right place at the right time. And he was like, I'll help out. And he has helped out so well that, like, I don't think the last year of the podcast would have happened without Diego. And he has proved himself time and time again to be a fantastic writer and a fantastic research assistant that, if I could hire him full time, I would.
Yeah.
I would make him a full time, not a research. I don't know what's above assistant. Researcher. Get rid of the assistant. That's what he gets to be.
Adjunct professor. There you go. With like Robert English. So there you go. So that's like a piece of advice for anybody out there. If you want to work in I think this is true of any field. It's like, if you want to like step up into the next level, it's like, be nice, be well-spoken, be consistent. And I bet you will notice that like opportunities will come your way. Yeah.
So thank you, Diego.
You're the best.
For all your hard work. Who else?
Okie dokie. Adam Grunther responded and said, I originally found Jason and Ashley through their Arrowverse weekly reviews on the Jawin YouTube channel. I was obsessed with Legends of Tomorrow at the time and came across the review of the season 2 finale. Pretty sure it was the first ever thing I watched on the channel. I really enjoyed their energy, their critiques, and their praises of the show, as well as Ashley's deep hatred for the Nate character. I will die on that hill. I became a patron not long after, and it was the first time I joined Patreon as well. It wasn't until they announced they wouldn't be doing Arrowverse reviews anymore that I decided to check out GHL. Well, the show ended. I was shocked to find out that I loved it even more than their reviews. I believe the first GHL I listened to in full was their TMNT episode. I'm so glad I gave the podcast a chance. I don't listen to many podcasts, but the topics on GHL are always so interesting and fun to listen to. It's easily my favorite podcast.
Well, thanks for having you around. Wow, another era, like the reviews.
The old times, the before.
Man, when we were recording like YouTube videos every single night for like 4 nights a week.
Yeah, for like years.
for a couple of years. It was like 2 years straight, I think.
Too many years.
It was way too long. Way too long. Yeah. It was a lot.
Scald's Tale Christopher Rondo says, I work for Major Spoilers Entertainment, and Ashley was a host there for a bit. I don't remember when I jumped on, but I'm pretty sure it was like 2015 or 2016. Funny enough, I knew Jason from SourceFed Nerd, and I realized Ashley was on a Sailor Moon RPG one-shot in 2018. That is true. I played Sailor Psyche, and I kept forgetting all of my powers.
Cool.
It's funny because we have a lot of connections to Christopher. We have not met Christopher in 3D. The world is just funny like that. I think that's all the responses. And because I'm not going to dig that hard through our long Discord
Oh, that's
chat.
fine. That's totally fine. Well, there you go. Well, you know what? Thank you all for allowing us to do a 2-episode celebration. The first one was all about celebrities. This one is all about you.
Because you're the real celebrity. You're the real people who matter.
Yes.
You're our family here.
Well, I say super friends, you're all our super friends, and that is 100% true. And everybody that listens to this podcast, and if you've listened all the way to this self-indulgent episode, thank you. What should we call this episode, by the way? We should figure this. I don't know what I'm going to call this episode.
Mailbag.
501. Well, mailbag is kind of, I don't know. I always feel that sometimes you
could call it self-indulgent nonsense.
Self-indulgent nonsense.
I mean, look, that's not bad. There's no winning the SEO battle on this, so you might as well have some fun.
I always worry when you call an episode mailbag, the people are automatically like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So more self-indulgent. 501, or maybe it should be 501. Celebrating our 500.
Still celebrating 500 episodes. Still celebrating 10 years of Geek History Lesson.
Still celebrating 500 episodes. Mailbag. Will you write that down? Still celebrating 500 episodes.
Great.
But anyways, listeners, just to give you kind of an update, we have one more episode in the bag for Geek History Lesson, and that is an interview with
JP Karliak, who's the voice of Morph.
Yes, and so you'll hear that later this week. So you're gonna get 3 Geek History Lesson episodes really quickly in a very quick succession. But if you don't know, and if you haven't seen on the internet, I have started a new job on a television show for CBS. Writing that show, and it's a really great job, and it's a really great opportunity. I'm pretty certain I can say what it is, but I'm gonna stay away from it just in case there are any legalities.
Just go search what Jason's been retweeting.
Yeah, you can figure it out pretty quickly, and that has been kicking up quite a bit. And then Ashley is gonna go to London MCM Comic-Con, so if you're in London MCM, you can find Ashley, scope her Twitter.
I'm truly hosting, I think, 14 panels. I'm very findable.
She'll be very easy to find. So if you live in the UK, go see her. But because of that, after the Morph episode, we're going to be taking 3 weeks off because we did some bad planning and we didn't pre-record any episodes.
Also, not for nothing, that 3 weeks is the longest we've ever taken off ever.
Yeah, I will say, you brought this up in one of our earlier episodes that I think over 10 years, we've only taken 15 weeks off.
15 or 17, something like that.
Yeah.
But there are also weeks where we've released double episodes.
Yeah.
So it all shakes out.
Yeah, out of 5,200 weeks.
Yeah.
We've taken 15 off.
Yeah.
So we're going to take 3 more.
Yeah. Because we earned it, consarn it.
That's right. Partly because our schedule. So
there's 500 episodes, fam. You might have one you can revisit. Planet of the Apes. Go listen to Planet of the Apes.
Go listen to Planet of the Apes. It's still timely, I bet. Where I talk about Beneath the Planet of the Apes, one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
And did you know Rod Serling wrote the first Planet of the Apes movie?
I did.
Yeah, that's why it's nothing like the book.
Yeah.
Don't read that book. It's not good. The movie's great. The first movie's great. It's fantastic. It's amazing. And it's full of apes. Who doesn't like apes?
And then when you come to California, you can hike Malibu State Creek Park and see the shooting location.
That's right. So as we continue this rambling, so there won't be an episode for 3 weeks after this, or after the Morph episode. So don't worry. Go listen to some of our past episodes, and then we'll be right back with a brand new episode. And, plenty more to come. Episode 5, well, actually, it'll be episode 503 will be happening in June. Don't worry about that. That's my phone ringing. I'll call them back. It's actually a fun fact. Former GHL guest Bernadette Inman, my mom, literally calling you right now. I'll call her. We'll be done in a second.
I was going to be like Sterling Gay.
No. Guest of episode 250, my mother, Bernadette Inman. So we'll be there. But I said this in the live stream and I want to say it again. Thank you so much for embracing this weird idea of celebrating our love with all of you for explaining things that we love and coming along for all the bits and the characters and stuff. And if you haven't, I highly recommend going back and listening to the audio file of the live stream, because
especially the last maybe 30 minutes or so.
The last 30 minutes are episode 0, the first episode of Geek History Lesson we ever recorded. And fun fact, there is a character in it. There is a character in the first episode of Geek History.
Yes.
So that was
who Jason still does.
Not really that much, but anyways, so go back and listen to that. But I want to just say thank you so much for 501 episodes. Thank you so much for all the support of the Patreon. Thank you so much for all the support of all our books and everything like that.
Because you prop us up as much as everyone shared a lot of vulnerability about times that we helped them, but you also help us through a lot of tough times too.
You helped us be productive. You know. The only reason we would keep releasing episodes is because we think people are listening to them. I think every podcaster, every entertainer can say that. If you thought you were, it's way easier to stop creating things and creating art if you don't think you have an audience.
Yeah.
But if you know you have an audience, I will say it's easy to make art because you're just like, well, I gotta give them something.
Yeah.
Because they're expecting.
You want to do right. We want to do right by you.
So we want to do right by you, and we just want to say thank you for the ride. It's been a fun time. Ashley, anything else you'd like to add?
Love you, podcast babies.
Love you, podcast babies.
Yeah.
Intern Brago, is there anything you'd like to add?
He's asleep.
He got nothing.
He didn't even blink.
He got nothing.
Laying on top of the wires.
He's laying on top of the wires?
Yeah, if everyone's audio's jacked up, it's Brago's fault.
If we sound bad, you're
he's laying on top of at least 3 wires
You're blaming on the intern?
I am.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh. We have another phone call
Was
here.
it OSHA?
It's probably OSHA. You should answer up to the next ring.
Okay. Hello?
Hello, Ashley. Dr. Stephen Strange here, Sorcerer Supreme. It would be, I think...
Hey, congratulations on your recent appearance in X-Men 97.
Oh, you're welcome. Did you see me?
I did. You looked good, babe.
You see, the electricity went out, and I said, look, Dr. Stephen Strange, as I'm performing... This is spoilers for the finale, by the way.
A very minor spoiler for maybe 3 seconds.
You see, they brought me on the set of X-Men 97, and they said, Dr. Stephen Strange, we are doing this scene where the electricity is going to be out, and you should be in full scrubs. And they tried to remove my lovely cape from me, the cloak of levitation, and I said, you shall not touch the cloak! And so if you notice in the scene, there's no electricity, but I'm wearing the cloak of levitation over scrubs.
Yeah, which might not be sanitary.
I'm saying I killed it. I look so good. So good. But anyways, I wanted to say congratulations to you, Ashley.
Thank you.
And congratulations to that other fellow.
Just me.
Yes. And
it's nice of you to congratulate Brago too, though.
Who?
The intern.
Who?
He's asleep.
Is she your familiar?
Yes.
Okay, then that is subject matter that I understand.
You don't understand the concept of pets? You've not always been magic.
No, I understand the concept of pets. I don't understand the concept of interns.
You work in a hospital. Of course you understand the concept of interns.
I haven't worked in the hospital in like 40 years. Let's be honest here. They only let me in because I've pushed my way in. But my medical license is not up to date. It is way... Let's be honest here.
Just got a drawer full of malpractice.
Oh, 100%. The best thing about having a home in Soho and a home in the Dark Dimension is every time somebody tries to give you a summons for a malpractice case, I just go to the Dark Dimension. They can't find me.
Just imagine Wong being like, I cannot help you.
I think actually that's the reason why we haven't bought firewood in about 10 years. They're all the summons of malpractice cases. So anyways, I wanted to say congratulations, but also a question. Why aren't I on the show more?
That's not a question for me, babe.
What? Who is it a question for? Your familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. Familiar, why am Dr. Stephen Strange not on Geek History Lesson more? Interesting. He said you don't have the production budget.
Do we pay you?
Of course you do. Do you think I'm doing this because of charity?
That's news to me.
No one does anything for free.
That's true.
Especially in this modern universe. Yeah. Come on, let's be honest about this. I get paid in demon coin.
Wow.
Yes. Demon
Goes
coin,
right to your wallet?
Dark coin, and Dormammu coin.
An edge coin?
Yes. They one day they'll rise up again. I know they will. They'll be worth more than 0.000000008
I hope so. For your sake, I hope so.
I hope so too, because Clea's talking about expanding the family, and with like 17 more cats, and we don't have the room.
Is that a spoiler for the holiday special? Just you and your 17 cats?
Well, maybe if I remember it. But anyways, ta-ta. I just wanted to say congratulations, and it would be a weird thing if I didn't show up on this episode. Don't you agree?
I do agree.
Yes. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nope.
I'm not picking up the phone again. Action figure spotlight?
No, it was him disappearing.
Oh.
He had a bit of a production snafu as he left.
Oh, it's okay. We won't judge.
Just go along with him. I listen to lots of other podcasts where characters show up and their entries and exits are just quite horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, give us some grace. Also, he's not a medical doctor anymore. He doesn't know how to operate a podcast board.
Are you trying to imply that you need a medical degree to operate a podcast board?
I am now announcing that I also, in episode 501, am a full medical doctor. Dr. Jason Inman, podcast operator.
That's
here.
why we need to take 3 weeks off so Jason can go to his residency.
The way Ashley looked at me was like she forgot that we were recording a podcast at this very second and was about to leave me like, what are you saying to me? Anyways, what I'm saying is thank you so much for listening. Thank you for putting up with shenanigans. After this, got a great Morph episode. It's a really fun episode. Yeah. You're going to get to hear some X-Men 97 behind the scenes stuff. It's really cool. And then a slight break. And then I know some episodes coming up. We want to give you a quick teaser here if you stayed away for the end of this. I know we got a Dragon Ball Z episode coming up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Static Shock episode coming. There's a Batman Beyond episode coming. And then there's some summer movies coming. So buckle up for that.
Are there really?
Yeah. Well, there are going to be some summer movies that we're talking about.
Okay.
It was in the schedule last time I looked. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to Geek History Lesson. I'm Jason Inman.
I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And Professor Ashley, please close out the podcast.
Class is now dismissed.